What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Before we get into the video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you like the content. Also share and like the video and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. So I'm gonna stop talking. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go.
Makes a man sassy. I mean, going to the movies in general is sassy. Like, who was sitting in a movie theater as a grown-ass man just like watching a movie? Like, that's
bruh, we can't do nothing. Oh my God.
I think that's so stupid. You can't do anything as a man. Everything that y'all do is considered sassy by some of these women. That is ridiculous. You know how many people go to the theaters? You go to the movie theater and watch a movie with your wife or your husband or your child or your children or your whoever, and that is considered sassy these days. And this is coming from a woman who is like a corn star, right? So, I mean, she's saying going to the movies is sassy. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have strong opinions about what it is she does for a living. I'm just saying, please don't listen to these people telling you that doing basic, simple things that people have done for years is considered sassy because all they can think about is, you know, sex work and that's it and nothing else. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Early in the morning,
you know. Had them in Rhode Island and stuff, and like it was crazy, you know, like it was just like a whole different experience because me and like all my family are like either from like was born in like the South or like, you know, California and stuff like that.
So you guys moved to Rhode Island?
Yeah.
Why did you move to Rhode Island?
Just for like legal purposes and stuff like that, to be completely honest. So everybody already know, you know, we opened up our life to you guys and stuff like that. So basically, with this current delegation that we got going on and stuff like that, we all know like the checker past, you know, and stuff like that. What we basically didn't want to happen was to be a repeat of, how do I say, harder or more difficult times. And
you didn't want to lose the baby.
Yeah.
And Delaware happens to be the only state in the country where
not Delaware.
Rhode Island.
There's like actually when this first was happening, right, there was only like 2, but now there's like 3 states now that are actually, here you go.
So the parents here are brother and sister, and they had a baby, and so they moved to Rhode Island because it's legal for them to be brother and sister and have a child together. This is interesting. They're sister and brother, and they are a couple, and it's legal for them to do this in Rhode Island. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy.
So now there's 3 states where
brother and sister can.
It's actually legal. So one of them, personally, will be New Jersey. Right now, we all know me, right? I'm not doing that. I can't be up in Jersey with it, and it's just not for me, you know.
When was the last time you was in a relationship?
To be honest with you, 16 years.
How come it been 16 years? Come back. Okay. So why did you pop his balloon?
I don't find him attractive.
You didn't find him attractive and you didn't find him attractive, right? So what is your type?
I kind of like gorgeous men.
Gorgeous men. Rating from a scale, like would you
10 plus.
You wanted somebody that's 10 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you typically date 10 plus men?
Mm-hmm.
I believe, like, you know, she's trying to date beyond how should I say, beyond a standard. You know, you have to come down to your level, you know, and be realistic with your goal. Because if you're not, then it's like you're living in La La Land. This is reality. This is the real world. We ain't here to joke. You know, we're here to speak the truth. And she needs to cut our coat according to her size.
You know, and I agree with him. You know, I still don't understand why when certain people go on these shows, specifically the women, they go off, they can't handle rejection. You go into these shows and you get mad when these men reject you, and then you just go, you know, just go off the handle. Like they can't handle it. And then she's saying she want a gorgeous man. She hasn't dated or been with a man in 16 years, and then she come back out on the scene and, you know, a bit overweight, and she's sitting here saying she needs a gorgeous man who's a 10. Your preference has to want you. You could have a preference all you want, but if your preference doesn't want you, then it doesn't matter what your preferences are. Because if he's not attracted to you, then you're not going to be able to get your preference. So either you're going to have to get somebody who prefers you or nobody at all. That's just how that goes, because you can't make them want you.
Please be careful and do not have kids until you're like almost 30. really weigh out your options, and date people closer to your age, because older people tend to be very manipulative and run game on you, and they play with your emotions and they drag you through the mud just because they know that you're more gullible and vulnerable. I've been with the same person since I was 16 years old. He is now 41 and I'm 26. We just had our 6th child back to back. Okay, I'm one hell of a mom. I'm hands on. I'm always home with him. I'm always the parent that's doing everything while he's out doing whatever.
Now, wait a minute. She said she'd been with this guy since she was young and she's on her 6th child. When did she realize that he was a manipulator? Why 6 kids with him? And are they married? And what's going on now? Like, if you're in a situation and, you know, it doesn't take you to have, you know, to be down, you'll be in a situation where you're 6 babies down the road for you to finally realize that this is no good. You know, there has to be some signs and red flags along the way. Let's continue.
Gave birth to our 6th child, and he literally did not come and support me through this traumatic experience. My father was here, and his reason was because I told him that he dogged me out during my entire pregnancy. He was not there to neglectful, no belly rubs, no bath, being ran, no consideration for my feelings, no empathy, no sympathy, no nothing. So he was like, finish it yourself. I'm like, you don't care about your son coming into the world and him being healthy and okay? And he's like, no, you can name whatever you want, I don't care. And I'm 26. I dedicated my whole life to wanting to be a good mom, giving him all of these kids because he didn't have kids when, you know, first got together. He was like 30 something, 32, 33, whatever. And I'm still gonna be one hell of a mom, but it fucking hurts. Like, it do. But life goes on, and it's not the end of the road for me. I'm hoping that sometime later down the line, because I don't want a relationship anytime soon, that I find a good person that can see the value in all of this, because people like to be very judgmental about situations like this. But if you're a young female, please date within your age, and don't give up your life so easy. Although I don't regret it for the sake of my kids are amazing and very smart, and very close. If I could go back, I would have chose somebody closer to my age that wouldn't have dragged me through the mud like he has. And there's just been a lot more to it. But this is just what I experienced today, and this was the nail in the coffin for me. Enough for me to be like, I'm never gonna be with you again, and I'll take the 6 kids and I'll figure it out. I've been already doing it by myself anyways. So it is what it is. But that's my only message for today. And this is what I want to tell my daughters too. Don't date anybody older than you. He's 15 years older than me, 14 years older than me, whatever. Same. And I have been drugged through the mud and still believing his words. The times that he's good, and the times that he's like, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna get my together, and I'm sorry, and he never does, and he goes back to the same typical regular every time. So don't believe the bullshit. Don't believe the love bombing. Just do you.
And while I do feel for her situation, because I do think that young women can be very gullible and vulnerable, and I do sympathize with her. I do sympathize with her because I wouldn't want this to happen to my daughters. You know what I'm saying? And so I sympathize with her, but I do think at some point, and I know she's young, but some point you got to realize when you see, and this is the advice that I would give any young woman, when you see the red flags, don't ignore them. You know, the first thing that women need to understand is, hey, listen, if you're dating a guy and he doesn't want to marry you, don't give him any kids. Because if his intentions are just to play you and you know, string you along, he's not going to want to marry you. So when you see that, you have a time frame. Listen, if you don't want to marry me, and I'm going to give you a time frame and you don't want to take me seriously, then I'm out and I'm moving on. Because that means he has a different agenda. And that's one of the ways you can weed out the guys who are not serious. Because they're not going to want to marry you if they're in it for the wrong reasons. But then once you've given him a child and then now 6 kids in her case, now you're left holding a bag and he can just move on and do whatever he want to do. So you got to first understand, listen, if the guy wants to take you seriously, he will marry you and take you seriously. And you have to hold him to that. If he don't want to do that, don't keep having a baby after baby after baby. And I don't care if he has kids or not. If he's not doing what he needs to do for you and the whole situation, do not just pop out all these kids for him. Because now look at the situation that you're in. And I'm pretty sure she saw some red flags along the way, but she'd ignored them and continued to move on with the relationship because I'm pretty sure she cared about him. And if she's 100% honest about the situation, you have to realize that you kind of like put yourself in this position and set yourself up for failure. Now you have 6 kids by a person that you don't want to be with, who you said treats you badly, probably never really want to be with you in the first place. Most men won't marry you if they're not really trying to be with you for real. They'll just string you along with the hopes or the idea of it, but they're not really going to take you seriously because that's not really what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? If they have some type of ulterior motive and something else they're up to, they're not going to marry you. They're going to get what they want out of you, and then that's just going to be it. But it's up to you to not allow something like that to happen. Notice the red flags. Pay attention to their behavior. Make what you want known. Do not sit there and not let a person know what it is that you're looking for. If you want marriage, if you want commitment, make that known. If he's serious about it, then he's going to do it. If he's not, then he's not. But by the time you done sat there and had all these children for him, now you're in a pickle. So I want to know your thoughts on this particular video. Make sure you chime in the comments, you guys. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell. Y'all know what it is. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.